In the primary stage of socialism, our overall approach is to promote economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological progress. And our general task is to achieve socialist modernization and a great renewal of the Chinese nation. To achieve new victory of socialism with Chinese characteristics under new historical conditions, the 18th Congress proposed following requirements. We must maintain the people's principal position in the country. People always in the principal position in the country. We must continue to release and develop the protective forces. We must preserve in reform and opening up. We must safeguard social fairness and justice. We must strive for common prosperity. We must promote social harmony. We must preserve peaceful development. We must uphold leadership of the party. That's first. The second is how to understand the goal of completing the building of a moderate, prosperous society in all aspects and deepening reform and opening up in all round the way. China has determined to complete building up a moderate, prosperous society in 2020. They have 8 years to go. And complete the building of a prosperous, strong, democratic, civilized and harmoniously modern socialist country by the middle of the century. To achieve the goal of building a moderately prosperous society, we will realize the sustained and healthy economic development, which means we will double 2010 GDP and per capita income for both urban and rural residents. We set up the goal of doubling GDP and per capita income, ecological civilization in the prominent position, strengthened to the early realization of the green transformation of the mode of economic development to build a beautiful China. That's the ecological and the environment. China believes that the world today is undergoing profound and complex changes, but peace and development remain the underlying trend of our times. The cultural diversity is increasing, and the information society is fast emerging. New breakthroughs are in the making in the scientific and the technological revolution. Global cooperation is expanding at multiple levels and on all fronts. Emerging market economies and developing countries are gaining in war over strength. China has pursued a foreign policy of amicable relationship and partnership with its neighbors, making efforts to consolidate good neighborly friendship and deepening mutual beneficial cooperation, and making its own development benefit the neighboring countries. Position in China's diplomacy. At present, China-Nepal cooperation in various fields has shown a gratifying momentum. Bilateral political visit has been frequent. Economic and trade cooperation has gone to depths. Non-governmental exchanges are active. From January to August this year, China-Nepal bilateral trade volume has reached $917 million, increase of 57.1%. Some large-scale cooperation projects has been made positive progress. From January to September, the mainland China citizens come to Nepal as the first stop was 78,400, a growth of 24.4%. During the same period, 26,900 Nepalese people went to China, a growth of 17.4%. China will continue to encourage qualified Chinese enterprises with good reputation to carry out various types of economic and trade activities in Nepal. Encourage Chinese tourists to visit Nepal, and as always to provide support and assistance to Nepal's economic and social development within its capacity. I believe that direction and goals established by 18th National Congress of Chinese Communist Party will enlarge the space for our bilateral cooperation. With the constant attention and the commitment of two governments and peoples to Sino-Nepalese relations, bilateral relations will gain a new development impetus, put more and more importance to the relations and cooperation with neighboring countries. For Nepal, we know we have very long history of friendship, and especially 1,000 years ago, we have begun the cultural exchanges. So these friendships continued generation by generation. So that's a very good and a very solid foundation for our further friendship and cooperation. And also, we have shared common interests in many respects: security, stability, and development, because we have more than 400 kilometers borderline. So both sides, stability and development is in the interest of both sides. So that's why China has always put very importance to the relations cooperation with Nepal side. And after establishment of diplomatic relations in 1955, so we have continuously promoted this kind of cooperation, no matter what happens or what changes in the international or domestic situations. That's because we have a very strong basis for the friendship and cooperation. And we also notice the interest of both sides. And I know from 50s, 60s, 70s, in that time also, China has helped and support Nepal in the social and the economic sectors such as infrastructure and others. For example, operational now, because when we go to KATHMANDU, we cross the Choba, we find a very big factory of cement factory, but it's empty. But it's big buildings there, still there. And there's also, and for example, we are pushing ahead the West City hydropower stations and the international airport in Pokhara, and to expansion of rail road of KATHMANDU, because that road was built by China more than 50 years ago. And also some hydropower stations is under construction. After reform and opening up, people have focused more on the economic and social problems. And in the past more than 30 years, China has get a new period of development. And before, we have many ups and downs. So we understand the situation here. The political stability. And we hope that Nepal can get out of political difficulties as soon as possible, because that's good for the economic development. And for how to get out of that, who will lead, and in which way, I think we respect the Nepalese people's choice for that. We hope that all parties can get consensus through the consultation. The problem for this even brothers, among the brothers, sisters, maybe they have some difference on different matters, different sense. But the most important is how to narrow the difference. I think best way is through the talks, negotiations, consultations. Only in this way, all different factions can go together, can find a consensus, which is right with
Sir, but you are going to a superpower.
Maybe we're optimistic about the prospect of the situation because Nepalese people, I think, is very good. Even political situation a little bit complicated, but the social stability can still maintain. I think it's that is very nice.
So,
that's why China, we said socialism with Chinese characteristics, we will not copy, and on the basis of respecting Nepal's independence and sovereignty, of course, and also three side also good.